Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about how to report regression results. There are some things that you should always report with your regression model. The first is obviously the coefficient values for your slope parameters and the intercept. You should always include those estimates in the report. Then in the report, you should interpret the coefficient values, and essentially you can talk about those three things that I talked about earlier. You can talk about the direction of the relationship between x and y. You can talk about the magnitude of the relationship. And finally, you can talk about statistical significance of those estimates. And therefore, you always report standard errors with the report, because these standard errors will help readers understand what is the statistical significance of the coefficient value. Therefore, estimates and standard errors should always be included in your regression model. There are two more statistics that you should always report with the regression output. The first is R squared. This is a must. And then the number of observations in your data set that you are using to regress this model. And if you are running only one equation, you can represent your results in equation form as your book is doing. But even doing that, you should always include estimates, standard errors, R squared, and the number of observations with the report. But if you have more than one model, then you should represent your results in the equation form. And one way of doing this is using Stargazer package that I'm going to show you next. Okay, so here we are in R, and in this example we are using MEP93 dataset, and here we are interested in the total compensation for teachers. And this total compensation includes salary and all fringe benefits, for example pension, health insurance, and so on. And we're going to extend the wage model that we saw earlier and say that total compensation should be a function of productivity and perhaps other characteristics. And we're going to represent our model as this one: salary as a function of benefit to salary ratio. We are interested in knowing total compensation as a function of benefit to salary ratio. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create this new variable, benefits to salary ratio, and then I'm going to attach my data set in R, and here I'm regressing three models. The first is I'm regressing salaries only on benefits to salary ratio. In the second model, I'm including two more variables as control variables in this model. And finally, in model 3, I'm including more variables as control variables. So this way, all these models will help us understand the relationship between salary and benefit to salary ratio. We may be interested in testing different types of hypotheses related to the relationship between these two variables. So in this video, I'm going to show you a new package called Stargazer. You can use this package to neatly represent your results. I'm going to upload another guide to Stargazer soon, but here I'm going to save these three models that we just regressed as a list, and I'm going to save this as models. And then I'm going to use Stargazer function and pass these three models to Stargazer function. Type mean text. It means we want to get the output as a text. And then we're going to keep number of observations and R squared in the regression output. As I said earlier, these two statistics should be included in your regression output. As you can see here, we can see everything in a nice table. Everything is right here that we need to know. We can test different type of hypotheses right here. So this is the way of representing your regression results and using Stargazer package to represent your regression outputs nicely. All right, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.